which is rolling in 1, 2. Buddha, Jesus Christ, Buddha, Savior. Welcome to the Sunday podcast. Hii ni kwa jaba vitu vingine. Sasa tuko sasa kwenye discussion. Yes. So this one is sasa tuko sasa discussion. Is rebellion, is it a mandatory sin for Christ? Is it like a state? Do you think rebellion is a state? Or as a Christian, at least. So, because there are people who believe that no matter who you are, there are stages. You will rebel. Lazima utakuwa rebellious at one point of your life. Lazima. And even Christians wake rebellious. So vile wase usema, even as kuna watu usema mimi by the way sizi date you save me there. Like hajatafuta marriage, hajadate marriage. Reason being, hiyo ni stage lazima msapitie. Asipopitia like atajaribu baadaye. Yeah. So kuna watu usema there are stages of development and rebellion must be one stage. So you believe for every teenager he's a Christian that they must rebel at one. You hadi sasa imetokea adolescence. One of the stages is pregnant. First of all, you go to answer. Kuna good drug. Like this one hapo. Kuna vitu vingi. La feel lakini what do you think? Madam, let me pick up your brain.
I think kwanza, what is rebellion? That's where you start.
Rebellion. How do you define rebellion? Sasa rebellion is being to be totally against a system or a way to. So if I'm totally against a system, and again I will do anything and everything to show that this system a partner or a way of doing things that will go in as rebellion. So acha tuseme Leslie amesema kuna good rebellion na bad rebellion. Tuseme tu tuko into tuseme kuna ile okay, tuachie hapo kwanza then to discuss with that rebellion.
So for me when I want to feel like rebellion, your rebellion kuna pungi na fight kwa interest. See with the way you know, lakini lazima urebel na feel juu if kama ya mama ko like niti like yeni perfectionist kwa nyumba, like vyombo zinaka place moja mama na wewe uko but you mosha vyombo but akikam ni kuzusha nini. God is a God of order, we know that. God is a God of order. But how we rebel in a matter, I think there are ways unaweza hiyo conversation kind, but lazima I feel like kwa hiyo definition kuna point lazima unataka then. What do you think?
I think rebellion is not just a Christian thing, it's an everyone thing. And that is because by the virtue that you're rebelling, you're going against a system ama laws that have been put in place. Typically, hizo laws ama systems zinapanga set in place by like an authority, typically to protect you. Sindio? So by you going against those, inakwanga inamaanisha unaona a better way. Unaget? And sometimes it could be like a better way kwa sababu maybe the system has not like grown to accommodate what you're thinking about. Una get? But as a Christian, I think you should rebel. Wacha nifikirie isitoke vibaya alafu ni quote wrong. I think not necessarily rebel, but I'll give you an example of someone who has been in a Christian home. If I had followed everything my parents have taught me, like you go to church, you pray, you ask God for everything, He will provide and blah 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 and stuff like that. At maybe at like my age now, I would go out into the street and someone would challenge my faith na singekuwa na kitu. Una get? Kwa sababu sijui God for myself. Najua kenye niliambiwa. Una get? And it goes the same kwa outside even Christianity in terms of umepana example ya umeambiwa usiende out usiku for example. Mzazi amesema mtoto wangu haendi out usiku kwa sababu watu wanapigwa nyongo. Una get? Na mimi sitaki mtoto wangu apigwe nyongo ndio maana namwambia akae kwa nyumba.
Sauti ya
Ndio maana na akae kwa nyumba. Una get? But there are people who are going out and being safe. Unanipata?
Yeah.
But sasa huyu mtoto juu amesikiza na ameambiwa like weka kwa nyumba, ha question kwa nini anaambiwa kae kwa nyumba, believe tu nikienda nje nitapigwa nyongolo, hatoki nje. Una get? And then sasa mkubwa na realize like people out, there is a way to go out at night and be safe. Una get? So point yangu ni as long as you understand the why the system is there, hata ukirebel you rebel wisely.
Yeah.
Una get? You rebel wisely because inaweza kuwa hata una agree with the system but up to a point. Una get? Una agree that you shouldn't go out at night, una agree that you shouldn't take alcohol, but if there is a way to go out and be safe,
Yeah.
why not go out? You get? Simple.
So I'm sure the wisdom that's over here.
Yeah. So now the question is, as a Christian, how? Okay, sipendi kusema as a Christian because it is true as a Christian. Okay, reacting as a Christian is the right. Should be Christ. Should be Christ. So how do you read that? Because nikisema as a Christian, you can't kusema mimi kwa nia. So this is not maybe this is what for me. So as a person, as a human, how do you disagree with your parents? Because you cannot agree with your parents' habits. If there's someone who will tell me, like even Jesus, and for him it was a good course. Like he went to the temple for 3 days to learn the word, to study, to talk about the word with the priests, with the teachers. So the mom came for him, and Jesus is like, hey, don't you know hii ni nyumba ya baba yangu? So I don't believe as a Christian. I'd be lying if I say that I have never disagreed with my parents. I have. So how do you go about it? That will be harm. So the example was your mom is from work with your dad, and she has gone through the process, and she will come back home without even knowing. She will take all that stress out. So as a Christian, how should you respond to that?
Yeah. So the Christian were the first. Anyway. For me, first of all, we know your parents to come to what your dad is not your mom and your dad are married, especially come on my mom and if he mentions something and you didn't break at a go ahead in which utaki like disagree, like excusing like that. So there are ways you can navigate around it nowadays. For example, ataki wende you're out. Muonyeshe how kwenda out ni poa kama kwa safety. Muonyeshe that unaweza toka na wewe tuende tuone, like isikae akwamini, isikae tu shady mtu akwamini unafanya nini, unaelewa? and then kuwa open, and then najua unza kuna understand like uko hapa and your parent labda when this sema kama kwa hii topic ya film like una understand si mwenye time out time yetu unaelewa hapo in terms of yana akiona tu kwenda nje like sema amereziwa wapi, sema amereziwa sasa Island akiona msubika jioni umeshaanza kwa bondi vitu kai hizo nonsense. Sasa hitu kwa wapi tuko like card yetu hapo unaweza kama juu hadi mimi nilikuwa na issues nilikuwa na hang out na msimu usiku na mama kwa zile unakaa nje usiku sana kwa nini but sasa nikabidi umueleze kuna msi hiyo Alan mmelimit unaona at least iweke open hata if kama ni bridge hiyo gap but the issue ni sasa mnataka show like understand your angle person yeah. Okay, if you go with that route obviously tutapatuna mtakuwa mnachomboana but the easiest way within time your parents ataelewa if kama itakuwa na open slide ya kufungua hiyo I project into your life from your perspective in which semi raised no room but there are ways to navigate around but sili nafikiri nasema hivyo but I understand ataelewaje sema unataka kutatu sema unaambia your parents leo unataka kutatu how will you be into that no so hivi na mimi naona ukikuwa na as much as you know you need to get down to where somebody can understand something for you what you're saying to make sense juu ile mtanga na juice juu ukikuwa knowledgeable una understand life in this perspective na labda ako hapo you need to come here umlete hapa unaelewa but ukikuwa hapo utakia kuja hapa it will never work
think wow I think number one if you're in a disagreement with someone number one conflict is healthy that's personal bottom conflict is healthy because you're a whole complex person with your beliefs and ideas and so am I and ikikuwa kama hakuna conflict na maanisha mmoja wetu ni yes man una get na maanisha kuna mmoja wetu mwenye needs zake zina take a back seat so that we can do what this other person wants all the time una get so for me conflict is healthy that's number one. Number two, if you're conflicting with someone if you're disagreeing with someone the question has passed to be why do I want what I want una get inaweza kwa kenye nataka ni unreasonable na yenyewe mtu akuna fault una get inaweza kwa kenye nataka I make sense it's a good idea but right now I make sense una get inaweza kwa kenye mimi nataka it's crazy and outrageous it can't be done right now una get so look at all those things if you see those things bado uone hii kitu yangu bado ina make sense then now approach the person and if you're approaching them don't do it with the desire of them seeing things from your point of view una get it's not how do I put this it's see at session yenye nimekuja kukuonyesha vile mimi naona I want to bring you to my side it's where two sides have come together we want to sit I want to hear from you and you want to hear from me and then we come to a compromise you get as long as you're looking at things like that and not pulling this other person to your side that's like already you're safe because sasa like ako safe already in the conversation because anajua huyu hajakuja hapa kuniambia kenye anataka na kunipull to their side amekuja hapa ndio tuongee we find a mutual solution una get and when you're in conversation like that with someone hata ako free to open up because I don't know if you see these videos where like watu wawili wana argue and then mwingine anaambia mmoja you can't change my mind una get ukikuja conversation kama hiyo is such a mindset hata bora na kuongelesha I can't you're not open to receive what I'm trying to say una get so as long as you both understand that everyone is open that's a different na sasa kila mtu anajua mzazi wake I believe that. Unajua mzazi wako, unajua ukimwendea hivi ni mbaya. Unajua ukimwendea hivi, that's basically how you're going to get understood. So for me, for example, in my house, the way I know how to invest. Nikiita meeting niseme mom, dad, Jenny mkae niko na kitu ya kusema. When I do that, no, because when anyone has something to say, fortunately, our house is very like. So hata mzae akiwa na kitu ya kusema, guys, I have something to say, come let's sit and talk about it.